Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. Dr. Malachi York, Seti, and Brother Polight fighting are benchmarks of regression. Dr. Malachi York, Seti, and Brother Polight fighting are benchmarks of regression. Now, Dr. Malachi York is incarcerated, and a lot of blacks and a lot of people who know about this incarceration and know who he is said that he admitted to the crime of pedophilia, homosexual, crimes and behaviors in his establishment and crimes against children. And they based that he's guilty because they said he admitted his guilt. In prime daylight, he admitted his guilt. Well, did he have a proper defense when he admitted it? And see, this is where blacks will never get a grip. They will never get a grip. I mean, they will always act so ignorant to the truth. And the truth is this: Dr. Malachi York is part of the constitutional republic. The people who put him behind bars and arrested him and accused him of all these alleged incidences are public criminals without any jurisdiction over him and his supreme contract of constitutional republic. Now, if we want to accept that he said he did these crimes, then we want to accept this information here. And this is what we want to accept. We want to accept that we as black people consented to come to America, but we didn't consent to come to America. Therefore, always a non-consenter. We are always a non-consenter, and we're written in the Constitution as legal non-consenters. So if he admits to doing something, he admits also that he's a legal non-consenter. That was prior, because under the constitutional republic, he can never consent to a crime of foreigners who have no jurisdiction over him. Most of these people accusing him are people brought in by the Catholic Church, the banksters, European countries, and criminals. And they managed to find something always on black men who are raising nations and raising the men and women in spiritual understanding. Now, am I saying that I know Dr. York didn't do it? Am I saying I know he is perfect? No, I am not. I'm saying this. This is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying whenever you are arrested by people who don't have the right to arrest you, whenever you're charged by people who don't have the right to charge you, because they basically on your contractual birthrights, on your contractual land, on your contractual non-consent jurisdiction, therefore, whatever they say, you said, or whatever they coerce you to say. See, we can't say no coercion didn't exist, okay? And for black people to assume he just admitted that without coercion is to be extremely ignorant, because this whole system of trampling the Constitution and the whole justice system where 3 million blacks are in prison is all about coercion. All about coercion. They call it plea bargaining, okay? It's all about coercion. The whole prison system, they say, rapes don't occur in prison. It's all consented. Among blacks, it's coercion, because blacks are non-consenters in the Constitution. So they have no business being charged by the public, which is Mystery Babylon. The public, which is Mystery Babylon, contract with the U.S. corporation, which don't have one amendment. It sits in 10-mile radius, and it don't have one amendment. All it has is acts. And these people built up their whole system based on the U.S. corporate mule, contracts of dung with the mule anus. They built up a whole justice system of anal dung. The whole Bar Association is the bar of the Constitution. Their whole legal terms is everything. So they took a mule that was given to blacks, that blacks inherited with their 40 acres, and they decided that they're going to build the whole legal system within the mule anus and get blacks to coerce, under coercion, to consent to crimes when blacks didn't even consent to be governed. They didn't even consent to be brought here, so they didn't consent to be governed. So they can't consent to nothing else, really. Dr. York, in truth, can only be tried under real constitutionality by the royal court of King David. By the royal court of King David. And them are those in that 1 through 15th Amendments with the Bill of Rights secure cosmically Fort Knox with non-consent jurisdiction. He can only be judged by his peers legally. Now, what they got going on is really a hijacking public of criminals, charging Dr. York with this, and if he said yes to this, then it's all set up. It was a setup of coercion at the beginning. Even if he's guilty, it was still a setup of coercion at the beginning, because he's non-consented to be governed by any foreigners or any foreign jurisdiction. He can only be governed within those of his constitutionality and his peers by the royal court of King David. So it doesn't matter. He can never receive justice with a public. That's why they give black men a public defender. They defend the public against the republic. They never give blacks a republic defender. They give them a public defender. So 200 to 300 million tramplers can coerce blacks into anything and can trample the whole constitutionality and all the blacks' Bill of Rights, all their human rights, and they can just infringe in an orgasm of infringement and trampling and massive hurting on top of, this supreme minority that they really can't get around. And that's why they public debtors, because they can't get around the supreme contract, because the supreme contract hold no debt. So they all public debtors, and they all pretend when they giving up public defenders. The whole Bar Association is based on public defenders, so they can war against the republic. So that is my defense of Dr. York. Blacks, you're fools to say he consented to anything. You're fools to believe a hijacked system. You're fools to take, someone who have these demons all around them, and he says yes to something. You're stupid to take that as fact. You're stupid to take that as an admission. And I hope you're never in that position, since you're that damn stupid. Because if you in that position that he's in and you're that damn stupid, and you wind up being coerced because your life is threatened to consent to something you didn't do, you're going to hope people have human compassion for your dumb ass, okay? Because, it's seriously 1 minute past 12. And you're still sleeping. You better drink some coffee, or you better smell it or get a good whiff of it. All that work Dr. York put in, all the minds he raised. And it's the same thing with Dr. Ben Yahweh. They did the same thing with him, charged him with some trumped up charges. Then he died while he was incarcerated. Now they trying to say Ben Amin, I did a video on Ben Amin. They trying to say he had something going on where he would allow the molestation. It's strange and funny how these Catholic priests done admitted it, and they done paid everybody off, and none of them is arrested. They so concerned about child molestation, but you got big institutions. They got institutions all over the world, not one or two operators like a Dr. Malachi York, but they got institutions all over the world where everybody all over the world complaining that little Johnny done had his rectum busted. And none of them never go to jail. You know, none of them never go to jail. But somehow they get holy and righteous when black men abuse black children. Never mind it's 200 to 300 million in the public trampling black infants for their birthrights. And they don't consider that highly criminal behavior and a form of murder, really. Murder and manslaughter of infants if 200 to 300 is trampling for his birthrights. You got a whole public I'm accusing of manslaughter, and may you pay the price as your public system mystery Babylon fall. May you understand when you lose in your life and your children and all your stolen goods, may you understand your criminality. Now, as far as Seti and Brother Polight, see, a lot of these debates is based on piss anyway. Patriarchal indoctrinated subjugation syndrome. Each male feels the need to dominate. So sooner or later, the truth gonna come out. That is nothing but a pissy fight going on internally. See, they can't do nothing. See, this is the benchmark of where we are. We still piss fighting each other. Here we are with spiritual warfare all around our head. War on so many levels. The black infant is being trampled, and all black men is supposed to be intellectuals. Is still in a pissy warfare, seeing who can dominate. Seeing who can dominate. You know, perfect religion and real religion is catering to the widows and orphans and staying out of the world. Not pissy warring against each other. Because see, all knowledge is from God Almighty. See, this is nothing but ego. This is nothing but ego. This is a sad benchmark for black people. And that's why I did a couple videos on Seti. Now some of the negativity is coming out. It's starting to show that it's turning into nothing but a fight. Okay, see, this is what they did in the Nation of Islam. It always wanted them to fight. And y'all never, ever defend women and children. This is why the days of the earth is going to have to be shortened. And Isaiah 4:4 saying that there's going to be 7 women to 1 man, which means a lot of y'all men is going to go. God is going to get rid of you. He's sick of all y'all dumb asses. This is Mary Omni from the house of King David. Shalom.